All right, guys. Are you guys ready to do a podcast?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I'm clean on this show.
Tone would love to have me, but
Are we
Gumball.
allowed to? Are we allowed to be on the show?
Whoa!
You know what? And I'm gonna
You
double
saw.
down. You would love to have me too, Ball.
How deep are you? You know what I'm saying? Like how deep
Yo,
can you go?
yo.
All right, bro.
Hey, yo, James, don't call him directly because he might cut you out. Call me first, and I'll transfer you.
What does that mean? Whoa! Yeah, he started jumping on it. Can you feel it? Can you smell it? Do you smell what the book is cooking? Yeah, what I like to say is movement fails opportunity when opportunity fails to move. Okay, well, that's a good start. Um, yeah, just already technical issues. So, anyways, um, welcome to Gumball Sports Machine. This is your favorite show, your favorite podcast, the show in which we love, we laugh, we hug, we cry, we smile, and most importantly, we are positive. And as always, I am not on my own. I am not by myself. I am joined by, of course, my dog, my OG, and the person we like to call the man we like to call the generalizer here on this show. We have Triple OG Tone in the building. Tone, what's the word? What's the word, man?
How you doing, my brother?
I'm blessed, man. I'm ready for my team to play this weekend in the conference championship. I'm ready, man. The Go Cardinals. No,
Yo, what year is this?
not bad. I was thinking, no, it wasn't the case.
I got you a jersey though, if you want support.
If I feel that I put that on, Satan might come to my door personally, and
Don't make me show the photo you sent in the group chat.
see there you go. Didn't nobody send that except you. See there you go. See there you go. Spreading rumors. You know what? Look at it. you ain't no good, Tone. You know that. And anyways,
Appreciate you and Lowe's showing support, man. That's nice. That's kind.
see there you go. Speaking of which, and the third member of our crew tonight, we have my boy, my homeboy, my dog, David Largo. D-Lo, aka co-host D-Lo, has arrived.
Low.
David Largo, how are you tonight?
I'm fantastic. Thanks for asking.
That is
Just
fantastic.
know my team is also in the NFC Championship game.
Yes.
Go Niners.
Yes. We are rooting for our teams this weekend.
Why y'all didn't? No, why you didn't wear your jersey?
Yeah, well, I got another team I'm repping right now, and we lost to
Oh,
one of the worst in the league yesterday, but you know, yeah.
Well,
always a
this
bright
is
side, man. It's always a bright side. I don't know where it
Yeah.
is, but it's there.
No, there. I don't think it's there. I don't think it's there.
Yeah,
well.
especially with all this new Giannis rumors. I don't think it's. He
Yeah.
might
Shout
not.
out to Giannis and John Morant in Miami.
They might not be trying. Now the rumors are got him heading a little bit more west.
No, that ain't happening. No. Anyways,
This is a nice depressing start to the show today. This is
yeah,
nice.
love we say we're happy and we're no, we're sad and we're depressed, okay?
That's why we tried to spread positivity, among the viewers.
I'm not spreading that. Nope, I'm
Oh,
spreading all of the negative energy today.
no,
Damn.
I hope that's all. I hope that's all you're spreading, D'Lo. Just wanted to double check.
Goodness gracious.
My bad. Okay, I'm sorry. Listen. We have a very, very, very good show on hand today. We have a very special guest coming up here in just about 15 minutes or so. So be very, very excited for that. But fellas, let's start the show with some big news that happened this week. Let's talk about LeBron and Jeanie Buss. Now, Jeanie Buss, of course, the owner and the daughter of the late Dr. Jerry Buss of the Los Angeles Lakers, and she had some comments about LeBron and kind of the relationship. Now what we all believe to be a very good relationship, right? Jeanie Buss and LeBron, they're very close. We all saw the meme of him turning to Jeanie Buss and saying, "Oh, Happy National Women's Day," and became this big meme. But they had a general mutual respect for one another, and it seems like that may have been derailed a little bit. One of those reasons was being that Jeanie Buss, again, um, she they went out and drafted Bronny James in the second round. A lot of people didn't believe he was an NBA player, and Bronny James, of course, being the son of LeBron James. Um, they went out and drafted him, and Jeanie apparently did not believe that LeBron was grateful enough for doing that. Um, so and a lot of the reports are, and again, I'm sorry, I'm trying to pull up the reports are, but so Baxter Holmes of ESPN. This was a story by Baxter Holmes, a writer for ESPN. Him saying when the Lakers drafted James's son Bronny with the 55th pick in the 2024 draft, Jeanie privately remarked that James should be grateful for such a gesture, but she felt that he was not. People close to the team told ESPN. Tone, when you look at this story and you look at some of the comments that are being reported were said by Jeanie Buss, and her rebuttal saying that it's just not true. I don't know if she's saying that's the way she feels isn't true or what she's saying isn't true. But to see these comments made by LeBron, who has been pretty impactful for to the Los Angeles Lakers, what does that mean for LeBron in the future with LeBron and the Los Angeles Lakers?
I'm almost reading between the lines. I'd imagine that there's some sort of feeling about maybe LeBron wanting to leave, or maybe the Rich Paul stuff. Rich Paul keeps talking about how they need to change up the roster, and so maybe she's hearing those whispers as well, and she's just aggravated. I do believe there's a little bit of truth about the Bronny story, but when you look at it, even if he wasn't an NBA ready player, he did a lot better than a lot of second round draft picks. And then when you think about the jersey sales, it's not a lot of people who sell the number of jerseys that he sold being a second round draft pick. I mean, he's LeBron's son, so he generated a pretty big penny for the Los Angeles Lakers and Jeanie Buss, if you want to be specific about it. I think it's nasty work coming from an owner, especially, mid-season when the guys are trying to get it together. I want to say it's similar to what Rich Paul did, but in a way, Rich Paul was kind of right about it. And even if Jeanie's right about this, you don't want LeBron feeling a certain way. He's the guy who makes things happen. It's unfortunate that it came out, but Who knows? We might see LeBron in a different jersey chasing another one sooner than later. I just don't know what was expected when she said it. Honestly, I don't know like if she wanted to ruffle his feathers. I, who knows? Maybe she's ready to make it officially Luca's team and get rid of Braun all once and for all. There was definitely rumors prior about him not being worth it, meaning the Brandon Ingram, the Kyle Kuzma, the Lonzo Ball, the guys that they had the youth that they had to get rid of to get LeBron. I think it panned out. They got a championship. Lonzo's been hindered for many seasons in and out of rosters. Uh, Kyle Kuzma is what Lowe likes to call a bum. And PI is the only guy averaging 20 points plus, and he's also been hindered. So honestly, I think it was worth it. I don't know what they're expecting though.
Yeah, so her rebuttal, and I quote, was it's really not right. Again, this is about the reports that came out about her privately saying that she's not grateful for LeBron. And she said it's really not right, given all the great things LeBron has done for the Lakers, that he has to be pulled into my family drama. Jeanie Buss said to say it wasn't appreciated is just untrue and completely unfair to him. D'Lo, when you hear those comments of her, again, not exactly saying she didn't say it, but at the same time saying that saying that the way she feels about LeBron and those accusations, quote unquote, aren't true. Do we believe this? And does Jeanie Buss really feel that way about LeBron?
No, I have a hard time believing it, just purely based off the fact that Jeanie Buss really wanted Braun gone. He would be gone. And that's just what it is. And I think that their relationship has been good ever since he came to the Lakers. It's part of the reason why he came to the Lakers. Um, I have a hard time believing that, because there are stories that come out on ESPN all the time that just really aren't true and are just trying to stir something up. And I feel like that's just what this is. Yeah, I really just don't see the whole appeal of Jeannie doing any of this and then coming out and retracting all of it. I just feel like, I would take her comments more at face value than the ESPN reporter.
And I think that's the thing in which, Dylan, you make a very good point, is if she wanted LeBron gone, he'd be gone. Now, let's at the same time, we also have to understand that's LeBron James. That's the second greatest player to, and again, and a lot of people's opinions, the greatest player to ever play basketball. Yeah, no matter how old he is. So at the same time, and the status that he's been able to bring. If these comments are true, I don't understand why she would feel this way. Now, I understand you went and got Bronny. You got LeBron James' son. But you didn't have to draft him. You make those choices. You make those decisions. You may have help with making those decisions, but they ultimately go through you. And so, so she was saying things like this, and they are true. I don't understand, because we also have to realize what LeBron has done for this franchise. Tone, you mentioned he brought this team a championship. He brought the team a championship. They were horrible until LeBron came. Now, they were horrible LeBron's first year, but then his second year, they went and won an NBA championship. And again, a lot of the things they have right now, they don't have without LeBron. They don't have a championship without LeBron. They don't have Luka Doncic without LeBron, because guess what? How'd you get Luka Doncic? Anthony Davis. How'd you get Anthony Davis? LeBron. Now, were there bumps in the road? Of course there were. But again, everything you have a future. You have a star for the next 10 years because of LeBron. And a lot of these guys, and it's just insane. Now, if they're not true, I don't know why this story would be published. Maybe it's to get clicks, maybe it's to get attention. But a lot of the success that the Lakers have had within the past 6, 7, 8, 9 years is because of LeBron James. And so it would honestly be astonishing to me for her to feel like this and genuinely feel like this because of what he's done for this franchise. Again, the Lakers maybe the most popular franchise in the NBA, maybe in sports. And so for him to come from Cleveland after going to an NBA Finals, let's not forget, LeBron went to the NBA Finals the year before he went to the Lakers. So he had no motivation to go to LA other than it is Los Angeles and it's the Lakers. And so for him to have that impact, and so again, I hope these statements that you made aren't true, but at the same time, they very much could be. So I mean, and when you look at the Lakers this year, they're not. Now they've played better as of late, but they're still really not good. I mean, Tone, is there anything the Lakers can do? Now, I believe they lost to the Clippers last night, and they fell all the way down to the 7th seed. I had to double check. Is there anything they can do at the trade deadline? I mean, they started one of the hottest teams in the NBA, and LeBron came back, and I'm not saying it's LeBron's fault, but they've looked a lot different since LeBron came back. Is there a move that the Lakers need to make at the trade deadline to improve this team and to improve this roster?
They'd have to either give up LeBron or AR, one or the other. They need to get better defensively. Personally, I'm a Braun fan, so I'd suggest AR. I think that Rich Paul was right. I know it was kind of throwing some teammates under the bus, but they have to get much better defensively if they want to contend in the West. There are so many teams in the West that are better defensively. I mean, Luka's probably the best offensive player that we have in the league, but it doesn't help when he doesn't play defense. Sometimes he just gives up on plays. Sometimes he whines if he thinks he got fouled. And it doesn't help. And they kind of pick on Luka and AR, the opponents. And AR was having a heck of a season until he got hurt. He's averaging, I think, 24, 26 points, which is his highest career average. I think he's at probably the peak value. I don't see why they haven't shopped him more. There's a couple big names out there. Shoot, you might even want to try to go get AD back. I think that's the only move they can make. I don't know if they're going to be able to get that done before the deadline.
Yeah, Dila. Now they've actually moved up since they moved up to the 5 seed after the Suns lost tonight. I don't want to talk about it. The Suns lost tonight, and so now they are, I believe, 27-17. I believe so. They're still 10 games above 500. But is there any hope for this Lakers team? Again, D'Lo, when you look at this roster, is this a championship contending roster that the Lakers are putting out on the floor right now?
No, and I feel like I've been saying it all year, even when they started off really hot and they were in the top. They're just not. They're just not gonna be anything. And the main reason is their lack of defense and their lack of depth, and the fact that they have DeAndre Ayton starting at center. It is. Austin Reeves can't trust him come playoff time. And I've said this time and time again. I don't know if you can trust him with the ball in his hands and to go out and get you a bucket. We saw it in that Timberwolves series. Could not do it. And so you're relying on a 41-year-old LeBron James to be your second best player. It's just not going to work. Which then puts that much more pressure on Luka to, be this, Superman. And we've seen him do it, but not with the depth that the Lakers have. That Mavs team was pretty deep. And this roster just is not. So I don't think that they contend at all. I think realistically they're a first, maybe second round exit. They just have to get better. It's just what it is.
Hey, what didn't I tell y'all? Didn't I tell you guys about DeAndre Ayton? Listen, when they signed him, I said, "Look,
you tell me the other night though. Be careful.
Who's y'all?
Yeah.
As soon as you said that,
he is.
He So he can roll out of bed and get 20 and 10. That's not a problem. He'll roll out of bed and get 20 and 10. He'll get roll out of bed and get numbers. It's the other thing. It's the little things he doesn't do. It's the help and help. Are you going to be in help defense?
No.
Are you going to communicate?
No.
Are you going to give full effort when you don't get the basketball?
No.
That's the thing for me is the effort. The effort. He doesn't show the effort.
Not on every night. And some nights he'll look like a top 5 center in the league. He can. And other nights he looked like he should be playing in China. And so when you look at those Lakers roster, they have zero depth. Zero. You have Luka Doncic, you have LeBron James, and then there's a big old low after that. Again, you have Rui Hachimura, who has shown moments in the playoffs. You have, of course, Austin Reeves, who, to D'Lo's point, has not performed very well in the playoffs. And again, don't connect. They signed Jake LaRavia this offseason. They signed Maxi Kleber. Like, this team is not going to win you championships. It's not. And so the things that Rich Paul is saying are kind of true. Now, are they going to sit well in the locker room? Of course not. Austin Reeves is not going to like what he said. Austin Reeves is not going to like the fact that Rich Paul, LeBron James' agent, is saying on a public podcast that they should trade him. He's not going to like it. But is he wrong?
No.
He's not wrong. And so it's just, again, now, am I happy this is happening? Of course I am.
Yep.
I hate the Lakers. I hate everything about them. But, I love to see them losing. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens at the trade deadline. And we'll be talking more about the trade deadline when it comes around. But let's talk some
football. See the downfall of Austin Reeves.
All right. Well, I don't really care about Austin Reeves. See, there you go. Why do you hate Austin Reeves?
Because they said that boy was better than a hero, and he's not.
That's nasty work.
It is extremely nasty work.
That's kind of gross work. But let's talk some football. The Baltimore Ravens, of course, made big news after they lost in that division-altering game, division-deciding game at the end of the season to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And they fired their head coach, their longtime head coach, John Harbaugh, after 19 seasons. Well, the Ravens went and found somebody this week, and that person was Jesse Minter, the defensive coordinator of the Los Angeles Chargers, or the former defensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Chargers. Was this the right way to go, D'Lo? Did the Ravens need to go find a defensive guy and to make that defense stout again? I mean, obviously, you don't have the Ray Lewises and the Terrell Suggs and the Ed Reeds, but I mean, the defense needs to be competitive playing in a division with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, with the Pittsburgh Steelers, whose offense isn't great, but can still beat you. Was hiring Jesse Minter, a defensive-minded guy coming from the Los Angeles Chargers, who had a good defense this year, was that the right move for the Baltimore Ravens?
I don't hate it. Also, don't know if I love it. Defensively, they really struggled last year, and well, practically still this year, but they struggled until week 13, 14, where they found some semblance of a footing. And it's not like they just have like a bunch of bad pieces over there on the defense. Like, they have good pieces over there, and I think it was probably just a scheme that just didn't work. But really, and I said it in my coach prediction video, I really wanted to see Mike McDaniel go there. You have Lamar Jackson, who is a all NFL talent QB. He can do virtually anything on the field. And you have Derrick Henry, who is still putting up some of the best numbers in the NFL among any running back. So I feel like when you combine those two and you put an offensive minded guy at the head of that, it was bound to work, right? I mean, it was bound to work. And even though they wouldn't have needed the best wide receivers to do it, because Mike McDaniel has a way of scheming guys open. I witnessed it firsthand in San Fran. Before Ayuk, people were open. That's how it is. I don't hate it though. They do need to get better defensively, and I feel like if they can do that and they can not be this elite defense, because I don't know if they have enough pieces to do elite, but if they can be top 15, top 10 defense, and then you just let Lamar and Henry do their thing, then I think it'll be fine. But not my first move, but I also, yeah, just don't hate it either.
Well, yeah, I think D'Lo. I think the offensive coordinator is going to make or break this team. I think you need to find a guy that will fit Lamar and Derrick Henry, because those are two of the best players in football. And if you don't get them to work, there's something wrong with your football team. Now, we'll get back into that here in a little bit. I don't know where the old man went. I don't know if
I
if he just
think
lost
his laptop died or
his
something. I
laptop
don't
died.
know.
Him and technology. But it is time to introduce our very special guest. She is the best producer I know. She is the producer of the Burns and Gambo show on Arizona Sports, and she is also the co-host of the Cardinals Corner podcast, also on Arizona Sports. And someone I'm very grateful to call my very close friend. She is Lauren Koval. Lauren, what's cracking like? What's happening?
Jamal, what's going on? Could everybody introduce me as formally and kind as you just did? Because I would love that all the time.
Well, as much as I would love for that to happen, people are gonna be people. You and I know that very well. Now, speaking of people, Lauren, this is my very good friend. This is what we call David Largo D'Lo, aka co-host D'Lo, and D'Lo. This is of course Lauren. And of course, the old man found the charger. I have good news. The old man found the charger. Tone, Lauren, this is my OG. This is my uncle. This is my dog. We call him the generalizer on this show. This is Tone. Tone, this is Lauren. Lauren, thank you so much for joining us for a little bit. I know. Listen, I know you got a busy schedule. Listen, I know you're popular. Okay, so for you to take a few minutes for us, very grateful.
Anytime, you guys. Anytime.
Okay, I want to start with this. And I told the boys you are a very, very big Bears fan.
Yeah.
After watching the season that you guys went through, and Ben Johnson saying the other day that this is not something to build on. We start from ground zero. For next season. What should be the expectation for the Chicago Bears going into next season?
Well, that post-game presser was one of the more competent things I've heard any Chicago Bears media member say in the last decade of following along with this team, for sure. So that was a nice start just for a head coach to say something realistic. I think the problem is that starting from ground zero, you're still in the NFC North. And you're still a team that's competing against the Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions and the Minnesota Vikings if they can get their act together. So expectations are you got to come out and you got to win the NFC North again. And you've got to show that you've built upon the great foundation that you've already laid this season with Caleb, with Rome, with Luther Burden. They're a young team. They had the best performance from any of their rookies of any team in the NFL this season. And that's what you look to grow upon. Now they have huge defensive struggles, and that's where I imagine they start building this team through the draft, because you might have had the most takeaways in the NFL, but it wasn't very successful outside of that. If you weren't taking the ball away, you weren't finding success.
That leads to my question, and I like that you brought that up because that's where I was going to go. Defensively, number-wise, they weren't really all that great, but then in the takeaway department, they were fantastic. How do they sort of find that middle ground? Where do you think that they need to improve? Maybe let some pieces go?
I think that starts in their secondary for sure. And I think that starts with the names that you might see go. I think that's where a Jaquan Brisker and a Kyler Gordon knew that they were playing for basically their Bears career against the Rams. And both of them had stellar games, but they're huge cap hits coming up next season. They're guys that maybe you could get to sign for a little bit less and restructure that deal simply if they feel like they want to stay in Chicago and like the culture they've built there. Another guy that comes to mind that you want to bring back in that same group is Nahshon Wright. You signed him for absolutely nothing, and he was second on your team. And takeaways, Kevin Byard, the so-called captain of this team's secondary, another guy that you want to bring back. And on top of it, Their DB's coach, Al Harris, is interviewing with the Green Bay Packers this week for a job in their defensive system. So you're having to hold on to coaches and players simply because you exceeded expectations and you don't expect to compete with fellow NFC North teams in this way. But I think you've got to see a shift towards younger guys and a shift towards a focus on bringing in different defensive pieces. The Bears had a horrible performance from their edge rushers this year. You've got Montez Sweat on one side and basically a rotating door of guys on the other side of the line from them. Their inability to get pressure on the quarterback is ultimately what I think did this defense in towards the end of the season. And that's where I think they should start this upcoming offseason.
Well, my question is, where would you rank Caleb amongst the top tier quarterbacks?
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Oh, no. Oh, no. All right. Well, I think that his escapability in the pocket is what he demonstrated the most this year. Just that being all of those game-winning throws that we saw. And even though it wasn't a game-winning throw, it was a playoff game forcing overtime against the Rams last week, basically running 50 yards backwards past the line of scrimmage, tossing one up. I personally thought he was just throwing it away. And to see Cole Kmet catch the ball in that fashion, I'm excited. And I think that Caleb is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL strictly because of what Ben Johnson and him have been able to do in year one under that system together. Jared Goff, who he coached previously with the Lions, said it took him 4 years to understand the offensive scheme that Ben Johnson brought forward. The fact that Caleb seemingly understood most of it in 1 year with him, that's where I lean towards him being a top 10 kind of guy. The second that he has a minute in the pocket and there isn't a lot of pressure on him, you can see him excel. I mean, that's why we've seen quarterbacks like Drake May really succeed this year, is because their offensive line is giving him time to throw the ball. And that's where you've got to build around. And that's what the Bears did this offseason, building around their offensive line. And that just helped Caleb grow more. And that's why we saw such a big jump in this second year for him. So right now, I definitely think he's a top 10 guy. And I don't see the Bears moving off of him anytime soon.
Well, I agree with that statement. I think I don't know if this one would be D'Lo. I'm pointing at D'Lo. I don't know if that one would agree with them with you. But Lauren, I turn my head around. You see my team, the team that we cover, and the team that makes me cry every August through January, whatever it is. They also don't have a head coach. Or who of the names available? Obviously, the John Harbaughs are gone. The Sean McDermott's out there. I don't think that's going to be a possibility. Is there a name out there that you think the Cardinals could actually go to get and not turn around this year, but for the long term, be of production?
I think even the way you asked that question, you know the answer to this. There are names that intrigue me more than others out there for the Arizona Cardinals. Obviously, I think of the list today that Adam Schefter put out there, none of those really moved the needle for me. I wasn't very excited by many of them. I'm excited by Raheem Morris, but only in a DC capacity, not in a head coaching capacity. I'm most excited to see Clint Kubiak. And if the Seahawks lose this weekend to the Rams, I wouldn't be surprised if the Cardinals go out there and hire an OC in that way as to be their next head coach. Also, the Cardinals love to alternate between defensive guys and offensive guys. Jonathan Gannon was a DC, so I wouldn't be surprised if they turn towards an OC this cycle. He's the one that I lean towards. I know that LaFleur was listed under Schefter's candidates for his top 3 for the Cardinals job. The problem that I don't like with LaFleur is he's not the play caller for the Rams. Sean McVay's the play caller for the Rams, and he's kept that ability. Now, he's from that coaching tree. There's a lot of confidence there. There's a lot of, poaching a guy from the NFC West to come over to your team in the NFC West. That's a big win. Now, that being said, all these guys listed besides Raheem Morris are first-time head coaches. So you've got to hope that it clicks and it works, especially for a guy who doesn't know who his quarterback's going to be to start the season.
Sorry, don't mind me. I'm wiping my tears. Go ahead, D'Lo.
Well, that's a great question because I want to ask you, as a Niner fan myself, we play in the best division in football in the NFC West. Obviously, we see Seattle and the Rams. We don't have to talk about the Niners loss just a week. We don't have to talk about it. And then obviously we have the Cardinals. Who could the Cardinals hire to bring in to sort of really get the wheel cranking because we see that they have a lot of solid pieces, both offensively and defensively, but nothing is really getting them to mesh. Who is the guy in your opinion that would do that and get them back to relevancy?
I think part of the reason I'm so excited to see if Raheem Morris becomes available as a DC is because he could unite the guys. And because he's that kind of uniting force in that way, I think not leaning towards the first time in a DC or OC role is something the Cardinals definitely have to think about because they're so young and they don't have as much talent on their roster as, frankly, these other NFC West teams. So turning towards a guy who has to rebuild from the ground up isn't necessarily going to be incredibly successful for them. I mean, we haven't seen many teams do a full turnaround when you don't have a head coach or a quarterback and you play in an incredibly tough division. All of that being said, if you're a head coaching candidate out there looking for something right now, you're not really looking towards the Arizona Cardinals because they're such a rebuild and such a complete startup. So I like bringing in some of these older guys who have a little bit more experience as an OC or a DC. I was really intrigued by Mike McDaniel as an OC before. It looked like he was going to the Chargers. Now maybe today he's taking the Bills head coaching job. Who knows what's happening there? But I was really intrigued by his name in that mix. I think part of the reason that at least I think most people in the Valley wanted Saleh to become the next head coach is because he's experienced and he knows the division well, and you're poaching him away from the Niners. So there were a lot of selling points with that name. That's also part of the reason I really like Clint Kubiak is because you're stealing him away from somebody. You've seen what he's been able to do with Jackson Smith and Jigba up there in Seattle. You hope he can do the same thing with Marvin Harrison Jr. and that you don't have to write him off as a bust.
Well, I did the Birdman hand rub when you answered my last question. As soon as you said Drake May, it got me off excited. So I want to ask you a question. Where do you think the Cardinals go moving forward with the quarterback position?
I think the Cardinals have written off this upcoming season because there's too many pieces that you need to fix and the draft isn't going to help them because you think when you have the 3rd overall pick in the NFL draft, that means you're getting your franchise quarterback. Well, not with this year's draft. If you are not the Raiders in drafting Fernando Mendoza, then you don't have your franchise quarterback in the loop. So I would not be surprised at all to see the Arizona Cardinals run Jacoby Brissett back this upcoming season. He's got another year left on that deal. They signed him to a 2-year deal last year. So you bring him back in, have him run the helm of this team. You focus on developing those younger players, start really developing a bond with whoever your new head coach is, whoever your new DC is, whoever your new OC is, and then moving forward from there. I think at this point, with how competitive the NFC West is, how competitive the NFC generally speaking is, you can't have a 1-year jump like we've seen so many of these other teams in the NFL have, like your Patriots have. I mean, that's not something that the Cardinals can expect to have next season. So I think Jacoby Brissett runs it back at QB, and then we see where you go the next year.
Man, she's scoring points left and right.
I hate you too. Shut that out. So you won't be happy by yourself. This is a depression area. I'm sorry, Lauren. I heard you mention this year's quarterback draft, and I had to laugh.
Yeah,
it's a joke. Okay, let's talk about some winning teams. Let's get to this weekend. Jarrett Stidham is obviously the backup quarterback for the Broncos, and he has made 5 starts, and he is 1-4 in those starts. He's obviously going to make his biggest start of his entire career in the AFC Championship this week against my OG's team there. What chance do you give Jarrett Stidham and the Denver Broncos this week against the Patriots?
Not a 0% chance, but pretty damn close to 0. Just because he hasn't thrown an NFL pass in a real game in over a year. So even though Sean Payton says, quote, it's Stiddy time in his presser today, it is not for me. And I don't see how that happens. I don't necessarily think he's going to cost them the game because the thing that's been so successful for the Denver Broncos this season has been their defense. They've been elite, been at the top of the league. all year long. And that's what Sean Payton is known for. He's known for developing his QBs and having a really strictly run defense. And that's exactly what he's done with Bo Nix. That's exactly what he's done with the Denver Broncos defense so far this season. So I give the Broncos about a 20% chance to win this game. I just think the Patriots are too good. They're too mature. They know exactly what to expect. I mean, Mike Vrabel is an incredible coach. We could talk just about Vrabel versus Sean Payton on the sidelines of these games. Two guys both who were recently hired to their NFL teams. And because of that, you start to think maybe if you're a Cardinals fan, your turnaround can be a little bit quicker than expected. I wouldn't bank on that one, and I would bank on the New England Patriots winning on Sunday.
There you go, Tone. You happy? You happy, Tone?
The board.
Glad that we're banking on the Cardinals not having a recovery. I love to see it.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I also need new friends, apparently.
You do. I want to move over to the other game, that Seahawks-Rams game. And Sam Darnold is not going into this game with that injury designation, but he is obviously still dealing with the oblique. And I think that this Rams team is going to be different from the Niners, who are just going to lay down and take the spanking that they got. The Rams are not going to do that, right? So what does that injury designation do for Sam Darnold? Can he outthrow that Rams defense while still dealing with that oblique? And if you think he can, do you think the Seahawks win this game?
I'll start with, I do think the Seahawks win this game. I think that Sam Darnold has kind of beaten his playoff curse, if you will, this year. I think part of that is because of what Clint Kubiak's been able to do up there and what Mike McDonald's been able to instill in this fairly young team so far. An oblique injury is a tricky one because the rehab for an oblique injury is rest. It's simply don't play football. And that's why it's so long to fully recover from an oblique injury, and why towards the end of an NFL season, we see a lot of different guys come out and say that they were dealing with an oblique injury since like week 13 or 14, simply because you have to rest and nobody wants to do that anymore. Something that Sam Darnold will definitely face in this game against the Rams that he didn't see against the 49ers, strictly because of injuries, is a lot of pressure on him. He's very comfortable in the pocket when he doesn't have a lot of pressure. He's not as mobile as he once was, and that oblique injury is going to hold up his mobility for sure. And the Rams defense has incredible edge rushers. Jared Verse, incredible. The fact the Rams are drafting so well and so skilled for what they've been able to put out there is great product, because everybody thought that Aaron Donald was going to leave. You're going to have to fill that gap with somebody really, really quick. Okay, well, they did it. They brought in Fisk. They brought in Verse. They've got a lot of young talent there. And it's a lot of guys who can rush the quarterback. We just saw that in the Bears game last week, where they made Caleb uncomfortable and he ran out of the pocket and he waited till the play developed and he found his guy down the field, or he didn't. But Caleb Williams is able to outrun sacks like Sam Darnold isn't able to do. So I think if the Rams get early pressure on Sam Darnold and make him a little bit flustered in that pocket, that's how the Rams win. That being said, I don't think they'll be able to do it against the front five of the Seattle Seahawks. They're too talented. They're too stand pat. They're the best front five in the NFL, I would say, so far this season, and able to protect Sam Darnold, which is why he's been able to revive his career so seriously in Seattle this season, and why he doesn't look like the Minnesota Vikings quarterback in the playoffs of last season. So I think the oblique could hold him up being mobile and getting out of the pocket. But that being said, I still think the Seahawks win this one.
Interesting. Since we've covered both games, I'm going to go with the possible 3-for-3 for you.
Mm-hmm.
And ask, who do you think will win the MVP? And second kind of part of the question is, do you think that any of their playoff performances add or diminish their possibilities for winning?
I don't think they play a lot of impact on the MVP voting. I really think that most people have made up their decision by the time that the playoffs has started. And I think especially this year, they've made up their minds. And it's Matthew Stafford. I think he's the MVP. And I think he's the MVP because The national media loves a redemption story. They love an older guy who's been able to find his stride and really develop more than anybody expected him to be. I mean, there were concerns that Matthew Stafford wasn't even going to be able to play the full season because he hurt his back 2 weeks before the season started. And then it was, are the Rams not the team that we expect them to be? Is this somebody that the Cardinals, God I say, before the season started, could jump and not end up being last? Obviously, that didn't happen. And I think because of that, and just the way that Matthew Stafford has been slinging the ball so far this season, that he's the runaway MVP.
Oh, man.
I love the Cardinals jabs every time. I love to hear it.
I don't
They're too easy. They set me up for that.
I just, you remember what hope feels like? I don't know what it feels like anymore.
I
especially,
do. I do. I remembered it this season, and let me tell you, it's really comforting.
And you know, the sad thing, I had hope for the Suns, and then Devin Booker and Jalen Green both get hurt today. So, yeah.
That ankle injury, by the way, not
looked horrible.
good.
Looked horrible, Lauren.
Yeah.
Made it right ankle. Oh, okay. Sorry. Before I start crying again. Okay. Last one, Lauren. Here's the spotlight completely on you. I'm putting you on the spot. The winners of Sunday's game and the winner of the Super Bowl.
Okay, I think it is a New England-Seattle Super Bowl, and I think it is a Seattle victory. I just think the talent of the NFC so far this season has been so superior to the talent of the AFC, and I think part of that's been represented even in these playoff games. This has been an incredible NFL playoffs, but I think overall the team that everybody thought would win the games has ended up winning them and has ended up showcasing more talent. I'm waiting, sorry to say it, for the New England Patriots to realize that they haven't played any elite talent so far this season. I'm waiting.
You're doing so well.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm waiting for them to
Lauren,
figure that
don't
out.
you dare apologize. Don't you dare apologize.
Absolutely
That was
not.
Patriot slander.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting for
Let me
them to
show you
figure
this
that
real
out,
quick.
but they're not used to that.
No, see, there you go. See, there you
There
go.
we go.
Oh.
No,
Lauren,
that ain't it.
don't believe that. Don't believe that.
It's a photo. What do you mean? It's real.
See, there you go. See, there you go.
No, but that I'm waiting for them to figure out that they haven't faced a ton of elite talent so far this season. I also just think roster-wise, the Seahawks are more talented and they've got better players on that team, that if they're able to figure it out, I really think whatever team comes out of that NFC game is winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, 100%. And I tend to agree with you, and we're gonna talk about that also. But Lauren, you freaking legend. You took a few minutes out of your time to talk to us three idiots for a few minutes. We are so grateful for you, Lauren. Thank you so much.
2.5.
Well, anytime to quote you three idiots want to have me on, happy to join.
Oh, this will not be the last time. Thank you so much.
Just maybe not next season when the Bears and Patriots play each other. I'm unavailable that week.
Well, it's okay. I actually don't plan on talking about any football next year because the Cardinals are going to be horrible. So this is going to be a strictly tennis podcast.
Might be a little tough for your job. I'm going to put that out
Well,
there.
I guess if you put it that way.
Yeah. Yes.
Lauren, thank you so much. Oh, yeah, we have to do this again sometime soon.
Well, thank you for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. Have a good night. I'll see you Monday.
See you Monday.
Right, Friday? Yeah.
Have a good one.
That is Lauren Koval. Oh, thank you so much, Lauren, once again. She is fantastic. She is just the master of all trades. There's no jack of all trades, master of all trades. And so it's so lovely having her on. And now it's unfortunately it's us three idiots again talking. So it's fun.
Unfortunate, like we
okay. I'm sorry, but when you have someone like that on, and then it's just us like talking, like
yeah, us, yeah.
Okay,
Awesome.
no, on a
Way to
serious
diminish
note,
our credit, right?
He did just say he needs some new friends. You heard him.
You know what? He did. And you know what? This is the great plug. Like, comment, and subscribe for the three idiots. All right.
you know what? The Three Stooges. Once again, huge shout out to Lauren. For sure, we're gonna have her on again, and she's awesome. Once again, the producer of the Burns and Gamble Show on Arizona Sports, the co-host of Cardinals Corner podcast on Arizona Sports, if I can spit that out. And of course, one of my very good friends. So once again, huge thank you to Lauren Koval. But we were talking about the Baltimore Ravens and Jesse Minter going to the being the new head coach of the Baltimore Ravens. Tone, when you look at the direction that the Ravens were going with John Harbaugh, and 19 years, he won a Super Bowl. He's been to multiple AFC championships, but he was never able to get over the hump again. What do you think of this move by the Baltimore Ravens? Of course, you have Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, but when you look at them going in a defensive direction in terms of their head coach, do you think this is the right move for them?
Yeah, you know me, generalizer. I don't know actually much about this coach, but I will say you guys are telling me he's a defensive-minded coach. I'll say that there's nothing wrong with getting Lamar more possessions or getting enabling him to have more time on the field. I think that will be the better decision in the long run. Lamar's a superstar, man, and if you can get him more time on the field, enough to show his greatness, I, I'm never opposed to that. Um, it'll be interesting to see what happens next year because I think we got another year of no Patty, right? Am I correct with that assumption?
So he a lot of people are saying that he might be back day one, just because of how fast he got his ACL surgery. But I think he'll be back sometime next season.
Oh, okay, interesting. Well, if he's not, there will be a lot more pressure on Lamar Jackson and, of course, Josh Allen to again win, and so they will have to ramp it up in Baltimore. They'll have to make make some moves, make some adjustments so that they can be better. Essentially just overall better. And again, I think that getting Lamar more opportunities offensively will be better for them. But it'll be interesting to see. I don't think Lamar's had this level of pressure on him since the first time he won MVP. And with the new coach, I'm excited to see how he performs.
This is, and I said it a little bit earlier. The pressure that is going to be on this offensive coordinator that is brought in to the Baltimore Ravens is going to be humongous. Because again, when you have two guys like Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, and then you have guys on the outside like Zay Flowers and a decent offensive line, there's going to be ridiculous expectations for this offense. And for them to go out and get Jesse Minter, again, a defensive coordinator, a defensive mind, and to bring him in to make this defense tough, to make this defense stout, to make this defense elite once again, like it once was, a defense that got them a Super Bowl, a defense that got them to the multiple AFC championships, the offense is going to have to perform. And Tone, I think you brought up a great point, and you bring in a defensive guy to get Lamar the ball more times than he probably should have, because that's Lamar Jackson. He's a multiple-time MVP. He's one of the elite quarterbacks in the NFL. You have to make the right decisions. The decisions that are made after this hire are going to be huge for this Baltimore Ravens. Again, because you play in a division with Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. And the Steelers, who knows what's going to happen with them? They still haven't hired a head coach. I think they're leaning towards Mike McCarthy, the reports are saying. And then the Cleveland Browns obviously are a poop show. And so who knows what's going to go on with them. This is a division you have to win next year. No questions asked. This is a division you have to win next year if you're the Baltimore Ravens. And if they don't do that, I don't want to say Jesse Minter is a one and done, but this is a big year. This is a very important year because Lamar Jackson's prime is only going to last so long. So Jesse Minter is the new head coach for the Baltimore Ravens. There's another team with a head coaching opening that made some more news today. The Buffalo Bills. They fired Sean McDermott after their playoff loss to the Denver Broncos, obviously an overtime thriller. They lost by 3 to a field goal this past week, and they fired Sean McDermott. Today, news came out that the Buffalo Bills are interviewing Philip Rivers for their head coaching job. Obviously, Philip Rivers, the big story with him coming in, playing for the Colts after not playing for 5 years. D'Lo, would this be a move by the Bills? Now, again, they haven't hired him. I'm not saying they're going to hire him, but the fact that they're even interviewing him means that they're at least a little bit interested in this. If the Bills bring in Philip Rivers as their new head coach, for him to gel with Josh Allen and to get Josh Allen not back to where he should be, but even better than he already is, would that be a smart move for the Buffalo Bills?
No, I don't know if there's anything that could save the Buffalo Bills right now because they've got a guy at the top who is, you know, the owner of football operations at the moment who's just not really good at anything to do with football. um and I'm we talked about it. Um no good draft picks really. I mean you have James Cook and you have Josh Allen and really it. I mean, I don't think that there's a coach in the world right now who could help the Bills. I think that Sean McDermott was a bad fire. I don't know if you can replace Sean McDermott with a coach that can just come in and automatically be better. I don't think it's Philip. I don't think that it's Mike McDaniel, as was pointed out earlier, because who knows what's going on with that at this point. Um, I just don't know if the Bills can turn it around until they fire Brandon. I just think that's what it is.
Tone, to see what Phillip Rivers did this year and coming back and playing, what was it, 4 games for the Colts after, again, not playing for 5 years. And then for him to turn around and interview for the head coaching job of the Buffalo Bills. Again, a team that is expecting to contend year after year after year. And yes, Phillip Rivers, a very, very good quarterback in the NFL for a very long time, but has no NFL coaching experience. How crazy of a move would this be for the Buffalo Bills to go hire Phillip Rivers?
I think it is. It is pretty crazy, but sometimes you got to go crazy. Sometimes you can get things right when you go crazy. I'm not saying they will, but at this point, we don't know what Josh Allen needs to correct certain things. He's one of the top tier quarterbacks in this league, and it seems like he's still a piece away or just something's off. When you look at Phillip Rivers, he was awfully successful in the league without, you know, being the best, but he was able to put up numbers. And he obviously can see the field differently than just an average quarterback. So there's a possibility that maybe he can show Josh a couple of things that gets them over the hump. And maybe that's what somebody is thinking. Who knows? But again, I mean, you said it just the other day. Phillip Rivers, he was one of those guys, man. Like he was right outside of that circle of the Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. He was dancing on the line. So maybe there's something that he can show Josh that enables him to get over that hump and finally get him one.
Now, to hire Phillip Rivers as a head coach, now I understand the Lakers did it. The Lakers went out and they hired JJ Redick, who didn't have any NBA coaching experience. He'd only coached his sons, I believe, in it's like 7th grade. NBA is a lot different from the NFL, though. There's a lot more things that go into being an NFL head coach than there is to being an NBA head coach. Now, Tom made the point of sometimes you need to go out. You need to go outside the box. You need to go a little extra crazy to see what works and what doesn't. I think for this instance, you need to go get somebody who's been there and done that. I don't know how many examples that there are right now out that you could go hire. Again, the only person I can think of is Mike Tomlin, but Mike Tomlin is not going to coach this year. He's going to take the year off. And again, he hasn't come out and said that, but what I believe is that Mike Tomlin is going to take the year off. He's going to go spend time with family and do all these other things. But they need to go find somebody who's experienced and who has been there and done that. Like I said, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but the Bills need to make that jump. They need to make that jump and get to the Super Bowl. They've made the playoffs for the last 7 years or 8 years or however long it was, and they've won playoff games. They've gotten to the AFC Championship, but they haven't been able to get over that hump. And so for that, you need a guy who's been over that hump. You need a guy who's been there and actually competed for multiple championships and been able to win at the highest level. And I think they might have waited too long to get there, and they might have missed their opportunity because these teams aren't going anywhere. The Ravens aren't going anywhere. The Chiefs are going to be right back there when they get Mahomes back. The Patriots are getting better. They have a young quarterback that's been amazing. So they need to go get somebody that has been there and done that. Now, maybe you go get an inexperienced guy. Maybe you go get a Clint Kubiak or a Michael Floor or another one of these offensive coordinators that, Thomas Brown, the passing game coordinator for the Patriots. Maybe you go get a guy that you think could be an up and coming Sean McVay type or a Kyle Shanahan type. They need somebody who's been there and done that. They need somebody who knows how to win football games. They don't need some inexperienced guy that can come in and maybe help you get that jump. They need a guy that can go do it immediately because Josh Allen is one of those guys like Lamar Jackson. His prime isn't going to be forever. So they need a guy who can go do it and win it now. And I just don't know if that guy's out there right now. Then they fired the guy who's been there with them, who has actually gotten them to where they're at right now. So,
Maul, you think the Bills do it? Going back to what I said, do you think that the Bills can do anything until they fire Brandon Beane because he's awful, or
he's bad? D'Lo, here's the thing. Since he has taken that spot, he's drafted 2 Pro Bowlers. 2. Josh Allen. Actually, no, not Josh Allen. I'm sorry. James Cook. And I believe one other person I'm forgetting right now. But 2 Pro Bowlers. He's been in that seat since 2019, 18. They need to make a change because, and here's the thing, with a lot of these situations now, the Buffalo Bills aren't this 3-13, 3-14 team that is just has no direction. They have Josh Allen and they've been able to win games. But do you have the guys that can get you over that hump when Josh Allen can't? Brandon Beane has not been able to bring in guys like that. He hasn't been able to draft guys like that. And until they make a change, D'Lo, to your point, I don't know if they'll be able to get over that hump. Again, defensively, what do you have? You have Ed Oliver, who has struggled to stay healthy throughout his entire career, but is a very good player when he is healthy. You have Gregory Rousseau, who has been a very good player, but 2 players don't make a defense. They don't. And Trey White is getting older. Buffalo has to do something to compete in the AFC because the Jaguars aren't going anywhere. The Bengals are going to be good again next year. And I mean, now they have to get a defense also, but I mean, these teams aren't going anywhere and they're only getting better, Tom.
That's true. I'm happy that you said that.
See, there you go. Okay. Before we get to, again, we're going to get to predictions. I promise. We're going to close the show out with that for this weekend. Last thing before the predictions, we've talked about him a few times this year, boys. Giannis Antetokounmpo, he's on his way out of Milwaukee, and they keep losing and they keep losing. And the other day he said that there are guys that aren't playing hard. There are guys that are not doing their job, and he called them out to the media. And today, Shams went on the Pat McAfee show and he said, "Yeah, the writing's on the wall for Giannis. Him and the Bucks will have a divorce, and they will go their separate ways. When? We don't know, but it is inevitably happening." So, Tone, when you look at this situation between Giannis and the Bucks, and another thing is, there haven't really been too many big trades. So, do you see him getting traded before the deadline, Tone, or is this more of an offseason thing where they can take in more phone calls and maybe get even a better deal for Giannis?
I think this goes back to what I've said about pretty much all of the trades. You have to do it while he's valuable. He got hurt earlier in the season, and people were like, ooh, who are they going to get now? Because, I mean, I know he's Giannis, but certain injuries have you, rethinking the situation. It's kind of nasty, man, though. What you got to think about what he's brought to that organization, what he's brought to that town. They were booing him at one of the games last week. That's just nasty work. I mean, I'd assume that some of the speculation has something to do with it and the fact that they're losing. But still, man, he had faith in that city. He had faith in that organization. You'd expect the fans to have some type of faith in him. And you'd think that if there was a love there, and if they continued to show him love, that maybe he would try to fight again. I mean, he wanted to stay. That's why they brought Dame in. it just didn't work out. Dame wanted to go back, be closer to his family, and he did that. And they really don't have as much value to go and get another piece right now. And I mean, to be quite frank, Milwaukee's not one of those towns that people just want to pick up and move to. But I do think it's inevitable. I don't know if it happens before the deadline though, because it just doesn't seem like people have the pieces to get it done. And if I'm honest, I know that there were whispers before, especially after what was that, the 2021 All Star game when Giannis jumped over Steph Curry, and then they had like a brief conversation. There were whispers about Giannis going to Golden State, and we're starting to see the pictures on Twitter and the videos, and who knows, man, it could happen. There could be a great meetup. And they're in San Francisco. They're not in San Francisco anymore. Where are they at now?
No, I believe they are in San Francisco. They
Oh, they
moved.
are.
Yeah, they
San
moved
Francisco.
to San Francisco.
Okay, my apologies. Yeah. They could be a nice little meeting, a nice little group up. I'd assume that would mean that Jimmy is out of there. But whoo, would that be something special to see, man? Steph Curry and Giannis and whoever else they can bring in or keep. Because I'd imagine that Kuminga will be out of there as well. But that'd be something special to see, man. I think that'd give that energy back when we had the big three in Miami. Shout out Lowe's team, but that'll give that energy if they could get another special talent, and you got Giannis and whoever else and Steph Curry. Woo wee! That'd be something to see, man. That'll shake up the league, and then I think we'll see a lot more trades. But I don't know if we'll see it before the deadline.
Tone, and to that point, that last point you made, and I'm so glad you brought that up because D'Lo, there haven't been a lot of trades. There haven't been very many transactions that have happened in the league. And so with this news about Giannis, and Tone said it's inevitable. I also believe it's inevitable. I just don't know whether it's going to happen. But the fact that teams know that there's a good chance that Giannis is going to be traded, is that holding up the league? Are teams waiting to make any moves before is anything said and done about Giannis?
No, I don't think so. And I kind of am on the same ship as Tone that I don't think that he gets dealt before the deadline. Um, with that said, Giannis looks completely checked out in Milwaukee. Obviously, we saw the crowd that was booing him, uh, and I think there were the reports that were, he was frustrated that they had even let go of Dame. And I think it really all started to sort of come together right there. That the writing was really on the wall for Milwaukee. I mean, they have really a lackluster roster where I don't know if they have really anybody of value in Milwaukee. We thought that, it was mainly Bobby Portis, and really that's it because we all know how I feel about Kyle Kuzma. He's terrible. And they don't have draft picks, and they're just stuck. They're stuck. And they got rid of Dame. They got rid of his other really close friend, Chris Middleton, shipped him out of there. And so if you're Giannis, you're looking at the situation like, damn, like I brought a championship here, and this is how you guys are doing me right now. Is kind of crazy. And so I think that Giannis is just checked out. However, there are so many moving pieces that have to encompass a Giannis trade that I think it's just impossible for him to get dealt before the deadline. And so I think in that perspective, there are going to be teams that are going to start making moves here that just don't involve Giannis. And I think the main one is John Morant will be dealt before the deadline. I don't think that he survives in Memphis before the deadline. Kaminga has requested a trade out of Golden State. I think Kuminga will get dealt before the deadline. And I think there are other circulating guys that could potentially be moved if the right offer becomes available, like Michael Porter Jr. or maybe a Lauri Markkanen. Guys who have their names have been, floated around this whole really seasoned since the season started. So I definitely think things will happen. It's just a matter of how much and not when, because the whole league is not going to wait on Giannis until the very last minute before they start making moves to try and go out and compete.
I just before I kind of make my point, D'Lo, I think that's a really interesting point on the John Morant on how you think he's going to get traded for. I could absolutely see it happening, but I also could see it not happening and being on the offseason, because again, these are superstar players we're talking about. These aren't just Jags, right? These aren't just a guy. These are Giannis and John Morant. And now, in terms of the Giannis point, something has to happen with the Milwaukee Bucks, because first of all, those fans that were booing Giannis, and I'll just use my guy as an example, Devin Booker, who has never won a championship for the Phoenix Suns. I'll be damned if any Suns fan ever booed Devin Booker, and he's never won a championship, let alone a guy who's won a championship, who's a multiple time MVP, who's a defensive player of the year, and you're booing him. He's never even requested a trade, and you're booing him. I understand this is not a very good year for the Bucks. They're not playing very good basketball. But you have to realize what he has done for the franchise, what he's done for the city. And they're booing him. If I'm Giannis, I'm absolutely trying to get out of there too. And the direction of the basketball team, I don't know where they're going. Because once they trade Giannis, they're going to have to trade for some pieces that bring in some sort of young talent, because there's no direction. There's no guy behind Giannis in which you can look at and say, okay, we're trading Giannis. Yes, we're trading one of the best players in basketball, but we have this guy to build around. This is going to be the next face of our franchise. There's nobody like that. There's none on that basketball team. And the future of that team, I don't know. Now they're going to get a bunch of picks when they trade Giannis. They're going to get a bunch of picks, and they're going to get a boatload of just things. They're going to get players, they're going to get picks, they're going to and so maybe that's where they start their rebuild. But in terms of the fans, what are we doing? What are we doing? That guy brought you a championship. That guy has been one of the best players in the NBA for as long as I can remember. Listen, I don't understand fans sometimes, fellas. I really don't. If the Bucks were my favorite team, and I saw Giannis, what do you want? You can have it. Take it. You brought my team a championship. So
can I add something really quickly?
Absolutely.
I think this shakes up the future of the NBA slightly, because LeBron got a lot of kickback from fans, media, when he left Cleveland, which was a smaller market, and they weren't really able to deliver the roster that he needed to win a championship at that time. Now Giannis is somebody who's really given his all to that team, and we're seeing that it doesn't always work out. You don't always get that Steph Curry, that Michael Jordan, that treatment and that situation. And so I think when you see a player of Giannis's caliber, I mean, he's been top 3 for the last maybe 10 seasons. I think there will be players that grow in those smaller markets that look at and look out and go, do I need to leave sooner than later and look for a better roster or better situation so that I can win and put my name in the rafters and in history, because it just always doesn't develop the way the fans essentially think and the media portrays, just due to the Michael Jordan situation, the Kobe Bryant, the Steph Curry. People want to see that. Cities, towns, and fans want to see that, but it doesn't always work out that way. And sometimes, you look at Luka, they kicked him out of Dallas. And now this situation just isn't panning out for Giannis, and he's hearing all of this backlash when he's delivered, like you said, Defensive Player of the Year, MVPs, championships, but it's not a place that players want to run to, and so it just doesn't work out. And I think it's going to reshape the NBA in the future. Oh, and also OKC lost to the Pacers. Just want to add that.
Nasty.
So I guess this brings up the good question in Giannis's value, um, because you talked about it, Mo. So many picks that will be moved for him, and if you look at the draft class in this upcoming draft, it's kind of loaded. When you think of just all of the talent that's in here, um, obviously you have Kevin's really like he thinks he's going to be the next MJ guy and AJ. But then you have guys like Darren Peterson, who in a lot of mock drafts are projecting him number one over AJ, right? And then you have Cameron Boozer, obviously Carlos Boozer's son, and you have Caleb Wilson from North Carolina, and you have our guy here from Arizona, Koa Pete. So there's just a lot of talent, and it is looking like just a very deep class. Would one of these teams that have one of these higher draft picks, one, two, three, or to use that and say, "Hey, look, you can restart here, have it. Let me take Giannis." But they're also not in a position to win, right? Because they're in the lottery for a reason. So,
Yeah.
what's the dynamic?
And it's just what are you willing to risk? You know what I'm saying? Like if you're trade for Giannis, right? Which means you're gonna have to give up a lot. Giannis is still a top 5 basketball player in the world. Of course, he's top 75 of all time. He's in that top 75 list. And so you're gonna have to give up a lot. But he is going to give you your money's worth. To your point, D'Lo, if you are that team in the lottery, if you are that team that's going to get a high draft pick, this class is loaded. And again, those guys that you mentioned, D'Lo, the Koa Peets and the AJ DeBansas and the Darren Petersons, this class is pretty good. So will one of those guys be Giannis? I don't know, or one of these guys in the future. Because I mean, if you're trading for 4-5 first rounders, you're trading for one of these 7th graders or 8th graders. Like you're not trading for anybody that's going to help you right now. In terms, if you're the Bucks, and are those guys going to be better than Giannis? And here's the thing: if you're not winning with Giannis, you're not going to win without Giannis. Might as well trade him because whatever it is not working. And I think something needs to happen with the Bucks because again, they're going in this kind of parallel direction. Unless somebody decides to step up and say, okay, you know what? I'll be the second fiddle to Giannis. When Giannis is out of the game, you can look to me and say, I'll go get us a bucket. I'll go put up 25 to help Giannis. They don't have that guy. They don't. And whether or not they find that guy before they're able to find Giannis, I don't think they will. But even at that point, do you still want to keep Giannis? So
what's Giannis's trade like? Does he have a say so?
No trade
Trade clause.
Ouch.
Yeah.
When I look at the teams that'll likely have that lottery pick, I don't think there's anywhere that he would want to go. But again, I also don't see a lot of value in it for the Bucks. I mean, it's looking at Brooklyn, Indiana, Washington, New Orleans, Sacramento, Utah, possibly Memphis. Like the closest team is likely Dallas, but I don't know if they get. I don't even know if they have any picks because they likely gave them all away, right?
Yeah, but they did get they got the one from the Lakers for that Anthony Davis for Luca or yeah, for giving up Luca. I don't know when that pick is. Maybe it's this year, maybe it's the following year, but yeah,
We're
I think
also
that was
not
a good point.
like we don't know what this package is going to look like because there has not been a player of Giannis caliber that we know is going to get traded. Obviously, we had Luca last year, but nobody ever saw that coming in a million years. But
Yeah.
we know Giannis is getting out of there. We don't know what this package is going to look like. Like this is going to be the biggest trade package that we have probably ever seen.
Yeah.
In terms of picks and players, and because it's Giannis. So I think that is sort of like the what's going to happen aspect that just nobody knows because we've never seen it.
And I think it also comes down to which team is best suited to win a championship around Giannis. Are you surrounding Giannis with? Do you have the pieces to surround Giannis with in order for you to be successful? I mean, think about when they won the championship. They had another guy who can go and get you 30 on any given night and help Giannis out. They had an elite perimeter defender. And then you had guys off the bench like Bobby Portis who could come in and give you another 20. Do you have the pieces to build around Giannis in order? Because if you don't have that, there's no point in trading for him. There's no point in trading for him because you're not going to win anything. Are you able to surround Giannis with the pieces he needs in order to go win? And if you're not, you shouldn't be in this Giannis discussion. Because again, if you're the Bucks, if you're not winning with him, so you definitely won't win without him. And it's the same for the other team. If you're not winning with Giannis or with a star player, don't trade for Giannis and expect that things are just going to change because now you have Giannis. You need to put the right pieces around him in order for him to be successful. Is there a team like that? I'm sure there are a few, but will those teams be willing to give up as much as they need to in order to trade for Giannis?
I think that's the thing, is that any team that Giannis goes to is immediately going to get a lot worse because of what they are going to have to give up. It's not like a LeBron situation where he left and Miami didn't have to give up anything to get LeBron because he signed there.
Yep.
But Giannis does not have that option. So, again, we'll see. It definitely won't happen before the deadline. It will not happen.
Yeah, I think I'm on that. I think I'm on that side too. I don't know. This is a big offseason deal. I don't know if it'll happen before the trade deadline. I don't. All right, it's time. Final segment of the show. There are some humongous football games happening this weekend. We have the NFC Championship and the AFC Championship. Let's start with the NFC Championship because, Tone's team is playing in the AFC Championship. So we'll get to them last. Speaking of which, hey, Tone, are you all right?
Don't know what happened.
The lights might have went out.
Yeah, there it is. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, Tone, the lights.
The lights were too bright.
The
lights were way too bright for him.
All right, D'Lo. Before we actually pick, let's talk about these games. Let's start with the NFC. One thing that needs to happen for the Rams in order for them to go win this game on Sunday.
I hate to be that guy because our guest, Lauren, was fantastic. I think she already spelled it out. The Rams have to get pressure on Sam Darnold if they want to win this game. With that oblique, obviously his throwing mechanics are going to be a little wonky, but he will not be mobile. Well, he will be mobile. He won't be as mobile as we know Sam Darnold can be. And it allows him to get tracked down just a whole lot easier. So if they can scheme a way to get pressure through to Sam Darnold, I think that's their path to victory, because it's just they look unfair. As someone who watched that Niner game, they look unfair. The defense is so elite, especially in just the front four. I was literally sitting there watching four guys rush against five. Jake Brendel did nothing. Get him off my team, by the way. And they got pressure every single snap. Every single snap, they got pressure just from the front four. So if you're the Rams, you're going to have some struggles moving the ball at time. I don't think Kyron Williams has the game that he has in Chicago. I think that you're going to have to rely on Matthew Stafford, who again is still dealing with that index sprain. And so you have to win this game defensively. And if you do not get pressure to Sam Darnold, they are going to stomp the Rams. It's what it is.
We have Tone has joined us once again. Tone is okay. I know we were all worried.
Welcome back to Generalizer.
Generalizer has returned. Here's the thing, and I'm gonna go with the Seahawks side of things, D'Lo. I think in order for the Seahawks to win this game, they have to run the ball. Kenneth Walker was fantastic last week against the 49ers, 147 total yards, 3 touchdowns. Kenneth Walker was really, really good, and it led to a lot of his success. Now, a lot of people may say the Rashid Shaheed return touchdown in the beginning of the game was the beginning of the end for the San Francisco 49ers in that game.
It was.
Which may have been very, very true. But there was also a lot of other things that needed to happen in order to win that game. That defense was really, really good. That front seven is very good. Ernest Jones is one of the best, if not the best linebacker in the game of football right now. And when you talk about the back end, when you talk about the Devin Witherspoons and the Reek Woolens and the Nick Manwaris, the rookie, that back end was really good. And they can be as good as they want to. If the Seahawks do not run the ball on Sunday, they will not win this game. They will not. Because if you run the ball, you're able to then run play action, which takes a lot of pressure off Sam Darnold, because if you're dropping back to pass every time, they know. And those blitzers, like D'Lo mentioned, like Lauren mentioned, the Jared Verses of the world, the Braden Fisks of the world, they are going to get after Sam Darnold, and they already know that he's hurt. So they're going to get after him. So if they're not able to run the ball with Kenneth Walker this week, that you can wrap it up, put it in a bag, and throw it in the ocean, because the Los Angeles Rams will be representing the NFC in the Super Bowl. Tone, with that being said, Rams, Seahawks. Who you got?
I got the Hawks. Long story short, I'm going with the defense and a quarterback that doesn't turn the ball over. But I will say, I wouldn't mind seeing the MVP top 2 candidates going at it, man. I would not mind watching that. But yeah, I think that we're gonna see a repeat of history, man. No need to even ask me about who I got for the other game. Who I'm rocking with. But yeah, I think we see Hawks and the Pats again.
Devo, Rams, Seahawks. Who represents the NFC in the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I just want to point out that it's kind of crazy. We're talking about the guy who doesn't turn the ball over, and we're talking about Sam Darnold, who is known for turning the ball over. Anyway, I'm going to go opposite. I'm going to take the Rams. Again, I think that for the Seahawks to win this game, they just would need a healthy Sam Darnold, because we saw the 2 regular season games that they played. Both of them were game of the year candidates. Both of them were. So this is going to be a good game. And the other thing is, they were both really shootouts when you go and look at them. And I just don't know if Sam Darnold has enough to outshoot Matt Stafford. And that's really what it comes down to. For me personally, I also don't think that the Seahawks will have as much success running the ball against the Rams as they did against us, because, we're signing players from the streets. The Rams are not. They are not signing players from the streets. They have especially a good front seven. But again, the secondary is shaky, but with that Sam Darnold injury, I just don't know if they'll be able to take advantage of it. And for that reason, I'm going with the Rams.
So once again, I'm the tiebreaker, huh? Oh,
Do it.
man. I'm taking the Seahawks. Well, with all that being said, I'm taking the Seahawks. And the biggest reason why is because the Seahawks, I believe, are more well-rounded than Los Angeles Rams are. And the Los Angeles Rams are extremely well-rounded. But that back end of the Los Angeles Rams can be had. They absolutely can. Ahkello Witherspoon, I know he was hurt, I believe, last week. I don't know if he's going to be playing in this game, but he can be had. He'll bite on a few double moves, which means Darius Williams will be playing in the game, and he hasn't been good for the past 3 years. And so now Cam Curl made a few plays last week. He's their safety. He's really good. But the only 2 disadvantages that the Seahawks have are a quarterback and a head coach. Now, a lot of the times you'll say, "Oh, well, aren't those the 2 most important things you need to win a football game?" In most cases, but when it's not that much of a drop Mike McDonald might very well be the coach of the year. And Sam Darnold has had a very good year. I understand the oblique injury. I absolutely do. But I think they'll be able to run the ball well enough in order for Sam Darnold to be effective. Because they have found something with that run game. And now what scares me is their left tackle. They have 3 left tackles. All of them haven't practiced this week. So that left tackle position for the Seahawks scares me a little bit. Outside of that, I mean, I understand the JSN and Puka. Puka, I believe, is better than JSN, but JSN also led the league in receiving yards. And so when you look at the impact that those two guys have, they might just cancel each other out. But I think the Seahawks are going to run the ball well enough, and I do think they're going to be able to get pressure on Matthew Stafford with their front seven because they have a revamped DeMarcus Lawrence. They still have Big Cat, Leonard Williams. They still have guys who can get to the quarterback and stuff the run. And I think they're going to be able to do that better than the Rams are this Sunday. And I think the Seahawks are going to win at home at Lumen Field and represent the NFC in the Super Bowl.
I just want to say Ahkello Witherspoon is not playing and did not play against Chicago. He was placed on IR.
So he's done for the year. So
He
that once
re-injured
again,
that scapula back there.
that back end can be had, boys. And if you're running the ball well and you if you're running the ball well and you open up that play action for the rest, the field is wide open. It opens up completely. And for guys like Jason and Rashid Shaheed and Cooper Kupp, like this this offense is really good. And if Sam Darnold looks even, I mean, close to what he looked like, again, he didn't have to do much against the 49ers, but if he looks close to what he looked like against the San Francisco 49ers last week, they'll come away with the dub and they'll represent the NFC in the Super Bowl.
This is Cooper going against his old team, right?
Yes, sir, it is. Yes, sir, it is. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if he had a big game. So, all right, let's get to the other game, boys. Let's get to the other game. The New England Patriots, Tones, New England Patriots, and the Denver Broncos, the team without their starting quarterback. D'Lo, your face tells me who you are going to take, and you are taking
Nobody will represent the AFC. Nobody is going to represent them. The 2 NFC teams will play in the Super Bowl. It's the Patriots, and it's very unfortunate because if Bo Nix was playing, I would have picked the Broncos. A, because I spite New England that much, but B, after what he showed me in Buffalo, I think he could have been, the game manager enough to go out and win them a game, especially because that game would be in Denver. But without it, they don't have enough, especially offensively, don't have enough. Defensively, still don't think they have enough because that Houston defense was probably the best that they're going to see. Maybe outside of Seattle, who looked really, really good. But at this point, I don't think that any team really challenges Drake May more than Houston did. And so there's really nothing here for me. I'm taking the Patriots.
So, Tone, I'll let you go last because this is your team, and I'll give you that that privilege to go last and for best for last. But I will absolutely send some hate the Patriots way because I will say the real Super Bowl is happening at 4:30 on this Sunday, because I think whoever wins that game wins the Super Bowl. But okay, now I'm done hating on the Patriots. Now, with that being said, I will be taking the New England Patriots on Sunday against the Denver Broncos. Now, I understand the Denver Broncos don't have their starting quarterback. They don't have Bo Nix, who has been really good all year, and who was really, really good in that divisional round game against the Buffalo Bills. But this is going to be a closer game than a lot of people think. Now, is it going to be a high-scoring game? I don't believe so. I could be very wrong, but I don't think this is going to be a very high-scoring game. I think it's going to be around 21-13 range in favor of the Patriots. But that defense for the Patriots is really, that defense for the Broncos is really, really good. Really, really good. And they haven't lost anybody. They still have Talanoa Hufanga and Patrick Surtain and Zach Allen and Nick Bonito, who is a Defensive Player of the Year finalist, by the way. They have a lot of guys on that defense.
One more name. You're forgetting the name. The other guy from the Niners. The other guy.
Oh, Dre Greenlaw.
Yeah, thank you.
Dre, welcome. I got you, D-Lo.
Shout out to the Niners.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you can go away again. They have a lot of guys on that defense. A lot of guys on that defense. It won't be enough. It won't, because as much as I hate to say this, but Drake May is really, really, really good. Really good at football. And he's an MVP finalist for a reason. Now, you can say other things about the schedule and who they faced. You are what your record says you are and where you are at this very moment. And the Patriots are in the AFC Championship because they deserve to be in the AFC Championship. That being said, I do believe the Patriots will win on Sunday. I think they'll be able to put up enough points to beat Jared Stidham and the Denver Broncos. And I do think they will represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. Do I think they'll win the Super Bowl? Well, I guess we'll just have to get to that in a few weeks, won't we? But I do have the New England Patriots in the AFC Championship. All right, Tone. I threw up in my mouth a little bit, so I hope you're happy with yourself. Tone, who do you have on Sunday?
No. It's not who do you have. It's why do you have?
Why? You know what? Yeah, that's a better. Thank you, D'Lo. Why do you have the New England Patriots? What are they going to do so well that they beat the Denver Broncos?
Well, first of all, I'd like to start off by saying we had a conversation about my guys, I believe, when I first got on the pod. Just one of those first initial pods for myself. And you guys were joking about how trash we were. And I told you guys, we got our quarterback now. Things are going in the right direction. And we're here now. We have a chance to go back to the bowl. And with all that being said, I think that last week was a great pause measuring stick for us. And we're going to use the mishaps and correct those. I'm sure Vrabel and McDaniel have been in Drake's ear all week. I'm sure Vrabel was telling them, just do what you do. But McDaniels is like, man, we got to be better. We got to be way better against this defense. And again, it's in preparation for the next game because that defense will be just as good, if not better. But I think Drake's going to perform better. He definitely won't have as many turnovers. I think Marcus Jones is going to be a guy to look out for in this game. And I want to remind everybody that, and I agree with you, Maul, that this is not going to just be a giveaway for us. Jared Stidham was drafted by the Patriots. He's not just some regular guy. He's actually a good quarterback. He was Tom's backup for a year. I do think that he won't be enough because our defense is actually a top tier defense as well. I know everyone's bragging about all these other defenses, but the Patriots got some defense as well. I think Gonzo's going to hold it down, and I think Marcus Jones is going to hold it down. And I think we actually might score a bucket or two on defense. Also, I think we got to run the ball a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? We got to show some different looks, but I'm excited. It's a chance for us to get hated on a little bit more. And we love it, man. We love it in New England. We love the hate. But I'm excited to see Drake May get back to what he was doing in the regular season. It's gonna be tough, and he's making a mark for himself, man. He can actually be one of those guys if he wins this game.
Whatever. Anyways.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, okay. Now, let's real quick. Okay.
No.
I understand the Patriots. Again, you are what your record says you are. Here are the quarterbacks that they faced this season. You ready? Tua turned the ball over. Justin Fields, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Russell Wilson. Who was Jake Browning? Baker Mayfield. Michael Penix. Dylan Gabriel. Cam Ward. Spencer Rattler. Josh Allen again. Bryce Young. 57-year-old Aaron Rodgers. Quinn Ewers. And Geno Smith. And then you face a CJ Stroud who looked like he didn't know what team he played for, and a Justin Herbert who broke his hand. They now again, to their credit, they've gotten here. Have they had an easier path to getting here?
Quick question: how come nobody was saying this about CJ Stroud the week prior to playing the Patriots?
Oh, they were.
No, they weren't. I did not hear those.
They were because he turned the ball over
here though.
Yeah, we said it on this show. He turned the ball over 3 times, and the thing we said, he has to play a decent game to go beat the Patriots. He played possibly the worst game a quarterback has ever played in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. That's credit to our defense. That's the thing I'm not hearing. Every show I'm not hearing. They're just saying, "Oh, we're playing these easy quarterbacks." I'm like, but we're playing some of the best defenses that. They've been the best defenses all year. And then why are they not giving credit to our defense on how these quarterbacks are playing?
Because your defense is cheeks.
That's a great point.
All of the other defenses are good.
What's going on? Like, I know that there's a level of hate for us, right?
We know.
When y'all talk about these other teams, y'all give these long soliloquies, extensive, football knowledge. And then when you talk about the past, we're just butt cheeks. We smell like toilet juice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Y'all are, and y'all do.
I will say.
And a lot of us are tired of seeing the Patriots because we saw them run the league for 20 years, and now they're back when they shouldn't be back because we thought they were going to be buns.
How are they back already?
For the next 10 years, and they're back.
Okay, Tony. Okay, you know what, Tone? I'll give you this. We're seeing the 2 best corners in the league play on this Sunday.
Yep.
That's all I'm giving you, though. Don't get you give somebody an inch and they take them.
What about my man on special teams as well?
Who, Marcus Jones?
Ooh. Rashid Shaheed?
Yeah, see, that's
that guy over in Seattle.
I knew you was gonna say that too. I knew you was gonna say that.
They're calling him the best returner since Devin Hester.
See, there you go. Actually, you know what? No. Ted Ginn was up there.
And that's cool and all, but we talk about special teams.
Ted Ginn was an elite.
Marcus Jones has been special this year.
Yeah, well, Marcus Jones has been pretty cheeks.
Such a hater. Such a hater.
I am.
It just sounds like love to me.
Okay.
Yep. And Tone loves cheeks.
Well, that took a turn.
That when Lev didn't it?
Yep.
Okay, well, hold on. That could be okay. You know what? Let's save that. Let's put that on one of our other shows. I don't know if that belongs on this. That subject belongs on this show. That is going to close out this show. Thank you all for watching. And again, whether you're watching live or whether you're watching on demand, thank you. You are amazing. And if nobody else is going to tell you, I'll tell you. I love you. You matter. Be grateful. Live life full of gratitude. Because a lot of people don't get to live life, period. So be grateful that you are here. Woke up this morning, tell your loved ones that you love them. And of course, for my OG, my dog, the generalizer, Triple OG Tone, and D-Lo, David Largo, aka co-host D-Lo, for your
shout out to the Boston Celtics who won tonight. Shout out to the Boston Celtics.
Man, that was tough against the bum Nets.
What did you just say, David?
Shout out to the Boston Celtics. Shout out to Peyton Pritchard for flamethrower.
My dog.
Goodness gracious. Lauren Cole.
Listen, if my team is going to be really, really bad, I need another team to support. And it's got to be one of your guys' 2 teams, right?
We know it's not.
An underdog. You don't work for the underdog?
Well, yeah, but Jalen Green and Book just got hurt. So
they did.
And we were the
No.
supreme underdog, man. We lost our best player, as you guys like to, always go at. I'm just saying, when he didn't win Finals MVP, I got a lot of, oh, he's not the
Yeah,
best player on the
he's
team.
buns.
See what I'm saying?
My very good friend Lauren Koval joined us earlier in the show. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lauren. We'll have her on again. She was fantastic. She was amazing, as she always is. For yours truly, I'm Jamal Gumo, aka Gumball. And always remember, it is nice to be important. Oh, thank you very much, Tone. It is nice to be important, but it's much important to be nice. Once again, shout out to the fellas and shout out to you. I love you. You matter. It's nice to be important. It's much more important to be nice.
Comment, subscribe. Like, comment, subscribe.
Perfect. We'll see you all Tuesday night. Holla!
Gotta find